1 month to go and 100 brutal miles ahead. Bighorn 100 is a beast, so let's get real about final training, race prep, and make sure that we go into this 100 miler as prepared as we possibly can. It's race time, baby. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Alexander Tucker, ultra runner, coach, and wanderer, sharing stories from the world's wild trails and personal journeys that come with them. If you are into ultra running, adventure, or just pushing yourself in new ways, hit that subscribe button and follow along. Because today we are diving into the final 30-day countdown for the Bighorn 100 mile ultramarathon. What's happening in training, gear, race prep, mindset, and everything in between. If you are here and looking for help planning, packing your gear for race day, maybe preparing, I've put together a free checklist and a planning guide for the final month of training and preparation. You can download it using the link in the description below. So as we get into it, let's rewind for a second. I first ran Bighorn 100 back in 2019 and I DNF'd at the 50-mile mark after climbing to the midway point through miles and miles of snow and mud. And I am determined to not let that deter me for this time around. So the past few months have been packed with heavy mileage, some great days on steep trails, hill repeats, lots of strength sessions, and some pretty big and fun efforts like running 47 miles the Grand Canyon rim to rim, and just last weekend running 50K at the Born to Run Ultramarathons in Los Olivos. My legs so far feel pretty strong, and my hope in rounding out these last few weekends of long runs is that I have laid the foundation to be able to run this race the best that I possibly can. But here's the truth. The final month isn't just about piling on more. You don't necessarily build increased fitness over the last 30 days. This is the time when you sharpen what you've built, when you try and protect it, when you give time in that taper phase for true recovery. And then when it comes time on race day, you let it rip. Right now, I am in the thick of my peak training block. Long runs are stretching between 25 and 30 miles, aiming for about 6,000 feet of elevation gain, and I am stacking them back to back. Right now, I am training in my backyard here in Southern California on terrain that's similar, though still quite different from the Bighorn Mountains. It's technical, remote, and steep, but it doesn't have that same level of elevation or the elements at play when you head to Wyoming for those Bighorn Mountains. And over the next few weeks, it will look like 80 to 100 mile training weeks with about 15,000 feet of cumulative elevation gain. The key here is that every long run includes full gear, race day pacing, and fueling every 20 to 30 minutes, no matter the distance. My aim with that is to test electrolytes, hydration strategies, and figuring out what works for my body when it's tired and the conditions get unpredictable. And then about 2 weeks out from race day, I'll start to taper. My mileage will drop first to about 60% in that first week, and then to about 40% of peak total mileage. I'll continue to keep strides and short tempos to stay sharp, but the goal here is to focus on recovery. Recovery meals, clean nutrition, lots of sleep is essential here. But this final stretch isn't just physical, it's also mental. And boy, is it mental. This whole thing is completely mental. I had been revisiting my 2019 DNF and it really gets those brain juices flowing. That DNF still stings. I came in with big goals and walked away completely disappointed, as it can often happen in these things. I was not ready for the cold, the snow, or the mud. And at that time, I was not training with race specificity that it required. The extreme gain at altitude, I just didn't really respect the course and I didn't come in prepared for it. And I'm hoping that's different now. This time I'm preparing for those darker moments. And to do that, I'm journaling, I'm visualizing, practicing how I'll respond when things go sideways, because they inevitably will go sideways. I am writing myself mantras to take out there on the trail. Reminders like, hey, you chose this. You are stronger than this moment. And your butt looks great. That's always great to hear, right? Who doesn't want to hear that on the race course? And if nobody else is going to say it to me, I'll say it to myself. But these aren't just words, they are tools. And they're going in my kit right next to my gels and my water bottles for when I need them most. And out of that, I'm also trying to break the course down section by section. I know where I'll hike, where I'll run, where I'll eat, where I'll change my socks, when I'll use my poles. I'm not scripting every second necessarily, but I'm giving myself a kind of a roadmap so that when the fog rolls in, I'm tired, I've got something to follow without burning any extra mental fuel. And so now let's talk about something that we all think about heading into the race. Gear. Because Bighorn isn't just a run, it's a battle. Through the mud, across creeks, through alpine ridgelines and unpredictable weather, the right gear can be a weapon that will help you win this battle. I will be running this race in Saucony Exodus Ultra 3s, big lugs, Great for moisture wicking, rugged, but also responsive, and pretty comfortable. I'm running in Dry Max and in Gingy socks. I love those. They're comfortable and help with shedding a lot of moisture. I've got my Salomon Advanced Skin 12 pack, which is a well-tested hydration vest for me. I've used it all over the world. I'll be taking 2 headlamps, one on me coming out of the halfway point and one in my drop bag for emergencies with at least 100 lumens. I like that because the brightness helps to keep the brain awake during those long night sections. And I'll be packing a light windbreaker, a rain shell, and long pants for the long, slow overnight climbs. Once you're out there and it's exposed and your feet get wet, it's really hard to maintain temperature, so those layers are important. Temperatures there can swing between 85 degrees during the day on exposed ridges to near freezing at night. So I'm bringing gloves and a buff and a hat for those pre-dawn or late night hours. I'll be using my Black Diamond collapsible Distance Z trekking poles, which I think are a must for this kind of terrain. They help keep you stable and will help get you through that mud with a lot more consistency and stability. I like these ones because they pack down really small and they store easily in a quick access quiver that I keep on my pack and out of the way. I am keeping extra shoes and socks in my drop bag. That Bighorn mud is relentless. And having an extra set might keep my feet fresh when I might want it the most. But here's the thing to keep in mind, the golden rule for gear. Test everything. You do not need or want any surprises on race day. Every piece of gear I use has to feel second nature by the time I hit that starting line. So why are we running Bighorn? What makes this so special? We are talking about a race course with over 20,500 feet of climbing over 100 miles. That's massive. A lot of people would wonder why we're doing this to begin with, how you even get there and feel ready and capable to complete it. But I think that's the wonderful thing about ultra running, is there are no guarantees. You try these things, you put your best foot forward, and hope that you come out the other side, not only unscathed, but stronger version of yourself. And in order to do that for myself, I've been aiming to practice consistent climbing and descending on tired legs. And while I live near the sea level, I'm doing what I can to prepare for altitude, because part of this course goes above 9,000 feet, which is pretty darn high. And as I said before, the course is notoriously muddy, with snowmelt and creek crossings absolutely guaranteed. It's not an if your feet get wet, it's how you manage them once they do. The weather there is notoriously unpredictable. You might start sweating under the sun in the early day, and by the end of the day, shivering in a storm. So pack like you are covering 3 seasons. Light gear for heat, full layers for cold and rain. I have started referring to the course map, trying to burn it in my brain early on and visualize the big climbs, like the infamous 8-mile grind up to Jaws. I want to be ready when that suffering kicks in because I know it will. So here's what I'm locking in for the few final weeks. Sleep, lots of it. I'm aiming for about 8 to 9 hours every night and then trying to grab a nap if I can in the afternoon too. And as far as nutrition goes, this isn't really a time to start changing anything. My race fuel is pretty locked in, and my taper meals will be simple. Things like grilled chicken, sweet potatoes, veggies, rices, clean, consistent, and balanced meals. As far as hydration, I sweat a lot, about 1 liter an hour with intense activity. So that means I need to stay up on my hydration and my electrolytes, which becomes kind of a part-time job when doing this. As for heat acclimation, I am limited on resources for it, but if you have a gym with a sauna, some sessions in there could be helpful. But mostly I'm running midday to mimic heat stress and train my body to stay composed under those high temps. And finally, the logistics. I'll be using my downtime in Taper to review the crew guide, organizing my drop bags, and organizing my travel plans to Sheridan. And these little things matter. They free up mental space so I can focus on the trail, not what I forget at home. So here we are, 1 month out. The hard work is mostly behind us. Now it's just about being smart, staying sharp, and staying healthy. I am not quite ready, but I know that I will be. I'm going back to Bighorn after 5 years, and I'm ready to finish what I started. And this time, my hope is that I'm coming in with more grit, more experience, and a lot more respect for that mountain. If you are racing too, please reach out. I'd love to connect before we toe the starting line. And as I said earlier, I've also created a free downloadable checklist for Bighorn prep, packing, gear, and logistics. You can grab it using the link below. And if you're on your own ultra journey, whether it's your first 50K or just getting out on the trail for the first time, I'm here for that too. As a coach, I love helping people take on the impossible. So reach out in the comments below, introduce yourself, let me know how I can help you on race day or any other experience in the future. Thank you for sharing your journey with me. If this video helped or inspired you, click that like button. And if you want to see what race day looks like at Bighorn, make sure you're subscribed. Until then, safe travels, happy trails, and I'll see you out there.